Coach, we last played at Michigan Tech. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on those two games.
Geez, I got to think back to that. If my memory is correct, I thought we played really well both nights. I thought, obviously, we won in overtime on Friday. And then Saturday, I thought we came back with another really good effort, lost by a goal, 2-2 going into the third. We did have a breakdown, but realistically, we played really well both nights. I thought Logan Stein played well in both games. So yeah, I felt pretty good about our effort that weekend. You know, obviously we're winning games almost every weekend. We come away with points. Our issue is the games we're winning in overtime. We're only getting 2/3 of the points. We only get 2 out of the 3, and then the other point goes to their team. And then if we lose the next night, we walk out. One team gets 4, we get 2, and you know that's a pretty big differential, and it's showing up in the standings. So we've got to find a way. I mean, to win games in regulation, so that we're getting the full 3 points out of it. But I don't want to get too far into that because we, in reality, we're pretty darn close to 500. And we're playing good hockey. I thought against Tech that was one of the first weekends where we gave ourselves a really good chance to win both nights. We played that well, and so we're getting closer. And like I said too, though I thought Logan Stein, particularly on Friday night, I don't know that he was tested as much on Saturday, but particularly Friday night played very well.
We've got St. Thomas up this weekend. What do we need to see to get those regulation wins?
Well, St. Thomas, they're leading the league, and they're doing it through really hard work, and obviously they're a talented group, well coached, but they are a very competitive outfit as well. They have been since the day they got into our league. So we're going to have to be able to match their compete. And then, the other thing is we're starting to score some goals on the power play. And we're getting not as many goals as I'd like to see 5-on-5. And the ones we're getting, it's great. I mean, Branchow and Venuto, it seems, and Luigi, their fingerprints are on those goals. We need a little bit more depth in scoring. Corny's line should be showing up on the board regularly. And then the one line that's really starting to come, I don't know if they're a bunch of gifted goal scorers, but they're really playing good hockey. I'd like to see it result in more goals is Zach Fairmouth's line. That line has really played well. There seems to be a lot of chemistry there. You've got 3 guys that are all big, strong, and they skate well. And they're hard to handle. They are hard to handle, and consequently they control where the game is played. A lot of times we're in the offensive zone with them. It's just now, can we turn that offensive zone time into productivity? So we need to increase the depth of our 5-on-5 scoring. You also look at 2 defensemen that are very good in McLaren and Hale, and they're both on power play. They're both talented, yet neither has a point on the year. And so the good news is we're in every game. We're coming away every weekend with points, and yet we've got some pretty good assets that haven't quite showed up on the scoreboard yet, and they will eventually.
And Coach, just talk about prior to the matchup against Tech, we were also talking about the defense also being physical, protecting the goalie, and even though you did lose that last game, you did say that the team played well, and everything that you executed in practice came to fruition in that very game. And just talk about, hey, I'm sure you're very happy that those things were able to be corrected within that little time of span, and I'm sure it's very important for this coming week.
Well, that's a good point in that we've been working. If you look back early in the year, maybe not both nights, but at least one night it seemed like we were giving up like 5 goals in a game. And we're not seeing that. On the weekend, we gave up 5 goals against Tech. We gave 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday. So from a defensive standpoint, we're seeing good things, and we put a lot of effort into it. And so I'm happy with that. Our penalty kill is on the verge of being good. Right now, it's not great. It's not where we want it to be, but I think we saw some signs. I want to say, and again, it's been 2 weeks, but I think Tech scored on their very first power play of the weekend and then didn't score another power play goal the rest of the weekend. And you think back to the game against Minnesota State in overtime where we had to kill a 4-on-3, then a 5-on-3. So our penalty kill is starting to emerge. Our defensive play is better now, now than when the season started. We are playing a more physical brand and better around the net. Now, from an offensive standpoint, I think we can be more physical and more determined around the other team's net. That's a thing this week we've worked on in terms of just, being a little more of a determined group around the offensive net.
And just one last question. Just talk about the opponent that you're facing. Even though they did lose their last game, they won their previous 5 games, and they have played some top 10 teams and maybe could have won a couple of those games. And it looks like this team is a lot improved compared to last year.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought they were a handful last year. They've never been an easy out or an easy team that you can beat. They're always competing. But this year they've got some pretty good talent on the team as well. And, the number of games they've won that are close, it's a tip of the cap to them. And obviously winning the previous 5. And yes, Lake State beat them 3-1. Lake State's a good team. And they beat them 3-1 the second night. I had the opportunity to watch the video on the Friday night game, and that was one really well-played game by both teams. So, yeah, they're in first place, and they're in first place for a reason. They're playing really good hockey right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Great, thanks.